Fellow inmates, it's Friday, April 24th, 2020, still on lockdown. Our mayor, Carolyn Goodman, you may have seen on, the mayor was on CNN talking with Anderson Cooper, and unfortunately, I think the mayor is not helping Las Vegas. What the hell? Did you see that? Oh my goodness. Yeah, terrifying. Terrifying that she would go on the news and threaten to use Vegas as a, control group to see who lives or dies. I tweeted a couple of days after, or the same day, a couple of days ago, after Mayor Goodman went on the news and said that. I tweeted Las Vegas Convention Visitors Authority, and I said, hey, maybe we should change the Vegas slogan to "Welcome to Vegas. If he dies, he dies." And then put the photo of Ivan Drago from Rocky V on the posters. God, crazy stuff. Anyway, welcome to, the 6th or 7th edition of Ask Me Anything on Facebook Live. We've been doing it every Friday at lunchtime, and you guys have been great. You guys have been asking lots of questions, and if you're going to keep asking questions, I'll keep doing it. If you're not going to ask questions and not going to sign on, then there's no reason for me to be here, because I'm talking to you guys. I'm not here to talk to myself, so I appreciate you guys being here, which is awesome. Okay, a couple of things. Before I get into anything, I wanted to throw out a special birthday notice or announcement to Robin, who is a fan, has seen my show many times. Her son used to work in the ticketing industry and sell my tickets, when I had a show. And, so Robin is turning 50? No, not 50. 60. She's turning 60. She's in Kentucky, and her birthday is tomorrow. So a big happy birthday to Robin, who is turning 60 tomorrow in Kentucky. All right, so that's that. Paul Neal, welcome aboard. Good to see you. Hope you're enjoying the online class that you're signed up for. It's nice to have you in it. Good evening from South Africa. Welcome, Samantha. Saying hello to everybody. Where in Vegas are the Raiders playing? The Raiders aren't going to play. There's no sports. Sports is done. Forget it. We're coronavirus out. If they do play, they're playing at Allegiant Stadium, and that's supposed to open this fall. Garth Brooks is supposed to have a concert on my birthday. August 22nd is going to be the very first event. Garth Brooks is performing at the Allegiant Stadium, which looks like a Death Star. Now it's all black. Looks pretty awesome. It's a pretty amazing venue. And that's supposed to open again August 22nd, which is my birthday, turning 46. But I'm supposed to do a show that night, so I didn't get tickets to go to that. But I don't know if any of those things are going to happen. It's hard to say. So we'll see. All right. Watcher from 89117 with Pitbull Big Earl. It's a great name for a pitbull if you're from Kentucky. Oh, yeah, you are. Dan, Little Eddie, Hypnosis 101 has really changed my life. Wish I knew this stuff 45 years ago. Anyone have a time machine? Well, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the class. When I said a bold statement at the very, very beginning. Sorry, I'm trying to keep these not from. I said a bold statement at the very, very beginning. And that statement was, you cannot be exposed to this information and not change. And I said, you're going to take the Hypnosis 101 and it's going to change your life. And students across the board in the class, everyone does an eye roll. They're like, okay, this class, right? But it's really true. You can't be exposed to this information and not change your life. It is a life-changing class. It's absolutely, I love teaching it because the information is so incredibly profound and valuable, because it's not really only about hypnosis. It's about how the mind works and the science of the mind, how suggestibility affects our everyday life, how our emotional drivers, influence our behavior, how the subconscious mind gets programmed, how we can unprogram it, how we can do all those things. Oh, hey, Kate. So it's just an awesome course. You can still get in it if you want to get in it. You'll be behind by a few weeks, but you can catch up. There's a lot of content, but you can absolutely catch up. And if you miss the weekly Zooms, we record those and we post them in the forum where the class modules are. So if you still want to get on board, email us or use the code FBLive, and that'll knock the price of the course down by 50%. It's still an investment, but there's a lot of content, and it is awesome. You can be interested in stage hypnosis, hypnotherapy, or just hypnosis in general. Or if you never want to hypnotize anybody and just want access to the content of how the mind works, I promise it'll blow your mind. Okay. Brittany, hello from Alberta, Canada. Alberta, for those of you who don't know, Alberta, Canada is where I was born and raised. I was born in Peace River, Alberta, a town of around 8,000 at the time, 7,500 at the time. And born in Peace River, I lived in Peace River until the end of first grade. And I went to French immersion school. French is my first language. Avec un nom comme Marc Savard, faut bien je parle français. And after first grade, I went to Grimshaw, which is about 12 to 15 minutes west of Peace River, a small little town, 2,800 people. And I started second grade there and graduated high school from there, graduating class of 55, roughly, I think. And that was when the two schools were merged together because the school I was going to closed after my 11th grade, my junior year. And I graduated from Grimshaw High School, and then I went to Edmonton and lived in Edmonton 8 years, and then Calgary a year, and then I moved out of Alberta in 2000 or 1999, and I was in Kelowna, BC for 3 years in Kelowna, and then I moved to Vegas in 2013. So coming up on July 1st, it will be 17 years that I have been in Las Vegas. And when I moved to Las Vegas, and my wife and I at the time we rented a U-Haul truck, and we drove all the way down from Alberta, or from British Columbia rather, came through Moses Lake, and then Coeur d'Alene, and then over to Twin Falls, Idaho, and then came down through Jackpot and Ely, Nevada, which is in the middle of nowhere. And the U-Haul truck broke down 90 miles out of Vegas. And it was 118 degrees in the middle of the desert in a broken down U-Haul. It was horrible. But we survived. We were driving the U-Haul and a trailer with a little BMW car on a trailer, and then had the truck, like an SUV, a Ford Expedition at the time, and a trailer with that. And then I sent Joanna ahead with that, with the truck and trailer to go to town, and while I waited for the U-Haul repairmen to come out. And sure enough, they came out, and they got out there like 2 hours later. So I was out in the heat 2 hours, but I survived. All right, so anyway, hey from Wisconsin, what's up? What's my favorite donut to have at Tim Hortons? I do miss Tim Hortons in Canada. Whenever I go down to watch hockey games in Phoenix, they have a Tim Hortons in the arena, so that's always nice. But yeah, every time I see Tim Hortons, I'm not a coffee drinker. I've never had a cup of coffee in my entire life. I'm just always like this, I guess. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. I don't like the smell, don't like the taste. When I open a box of chocolates that have an assorted flavor, if there's not a map to which chocolate is what, I won't eat the chocolates out of the sheer risk, out of the chance that I might eat a coffee chocolate. That's how much I dislike the taste. If I have even the smell of coffee, coffee grounds, fresh coffee grounds, I don't mind, but the burnt beans, roasted beans, it's disgusting. I just never liked it. So anyway, so when I go to Tim Hortons, it is solely for donuts, never for coffee. And I love maple glazed, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is always honey glazed, just a regular honey glazed. And if they're fresh, it's awesome. So great question. All right, hello from Vancouver Island. One of our Vegas favorites. Thanks for coming to the show, Rebecca. Vancouver Island, I've been there a lot. I used to tour doing shows all throughout Canada and the US, and I did an alcohol awareness program because I was hit by a drunk driver and broke my back, fractured my skull, and leaking brain fluid out my nose, and it was a horrific car crash. And I designed an alcohol awareness program for high school kids talking about the power of the mind, and mixed in with my show and drinking and driving and so on and so forth. And ICBC, the Insurance Corporation of British Columbia, sponsored the tour and would send me through all the schools throughout BC. And I did that for several years. And so I've been on Vancouver Island and performed a lot of shows there. I used to perform at CFB Esquimalt. And so I performed at, all over Victoria and Nanaimo and Ladysmith and Comox and Courtenay and Parksville. And you name it, I've been to the towns on Vancouver Island, and I really enjoy it. And Nanaimo is the home of the Nanaimo bars. And Nanaimo bars are fantastic. And if one of you in Canada feels like making a fresh batch of Nanaimo bars and shipping those to my address here in Vegas, that would be awesome. All right, prefer it without nuts. Okay, hi from Regina. Yes, I said Regina. Regina, Saskatchewan, what's up? Brent. Brent has been working with me for a long time and is in charge of all of our media stuff. He's put a link for the stress relief. If you're stressed and you're coronavirus out and you're feeling like you're just climbing the walls and it sucks, click on that link and download my stress relief program for free. You can have it for free. So it's yours. Enjoy and get de-stressified. And then, of course, our training for the code, put FB Live. All right. Hey, Clem, what's up? And my little sister says, hey, big brother, what's happening? You guys can FaceTime me anytime you guys want. I don't know why you're Facebook Living. I appreciate your support, but you can just call me. You have my number. Charlie Taylor, welcome aboard. The Allegiant Stadium looks just like a giant Roomba. I have to agree with that. I have to agree. It had the making, when it was first being built, it had the making of looking like a Death Star, but obviously the roof is missing. The round part of the roof is missing. Joseph's like, hey, I was in your show a few years back, loved it, appreciate it. I'll be back in 2 years for my father's 60th birthday. Well, we look forward to seeing you. Dita Nelson. Dita Nelson is a friend of mine that I have known since, I think, 7th grade, and maybe 8th grade. And her father was a water ski coach and would coach Team Alberta for provincials and westerns and nationals. And many of you guys may not know this, but I was a national level competing water skier. I competed in slalom, trick skiing, and jump. And Dina's father was my coach. So we stayed at their residence, the Walker residence, for years and years, for every year, for quite some time, and for weeks at a time. And I have some great memories of competing in water skiing and training. And I mean, it was a wonderful, wonderful way to spend my entire adolescent years. And yeah, welcome aboard, Dina. Love you. All right. Hello from Ottawa. Are you still doing your light show at your place during Christmas? Maybe do a summer show, give people something to drive by and see regarding social distancing. I've had a lot of messages I have a Facebook page for my house on Robindale, and I put up Christmas lights, for those of you who don't know, about 100,000 lights, all synchronized to music. And it is quite the undertaking to put it up. And in order for me to put it up, it takes me a full weekend with like 10 guys. I make a donation to a local fraternity here at UNLV, but then it puts a bunch of guys in close quarters. And so to keep for social distancing, I didn't want to put anyone at risk. So I didn't set it up. But yeah, I do set it up every year, and it runs from Thanksgiving night, American Thanksgiving, all the way to New Year's Eve. And it is something to see. Maybe we have, Brett, if you can put my YouTube link to the video that has the drone shot. Maybe if you haven't seen my Christmas Late Show, that's an older video with some older songs on it, but you can definitely get the idea. Brittany saw my show once when I was a kid in a very, very small, presumed town. Fun fact though, I believe your wife was my swimming instructor when I was a kid. And bridesmaid in a wedding I was a flower girl in, but don't remember meeting you. Well, that's pretty funny. She was my ex-wife. And it's more than likely, if it was a small town near like Killam, Sedgwick, Daysland, all of those areas, yes, it was more than likely the case. But I don't remember ever going to any weddings. She was a bridesmaid in her sister's wedding, in her sister Dawn's wedding, but that's really about all, I think. But I don't normally go to weddings. I was usually touring and doing shows and weddings, Right, okay. Carolyn's asking, when is the Mind Matrix program coming out? We'll see. Maybe soon. I don't know. I'm working. Right now I'm videotaping my online classes. It has been a bigger undertaking than I thought it was going to be. So that's been taking a lot of my time. And I'm prepping the stage hypnosis class that comes after it. So I want to get to the Mind Matrix, and I hope to soon. Paul Marceau was just logged on. And Paul, There's a story that I remember, and I don't even know if you'd remember the story, but we were all really young, and we were at your parents' place, obviously. Richard and Carol are my godparents, and wonderful people. And we were at your parents', and I remember being really young, and a cousin of yours, or a friend, or something like that, a younger kid, had visited your house prior to us being there, and there was a bowl of almonds. And I remember eating some of the almonds, and I don't know, you must have been no more than 12 or 13, which puts me a couple of years younger than you. And I'm eating the almonds, and or about to eat the almonds, or had one or two, and you turn to me and you go, "Oh, don't eat those, don't eat those. My cousin so-and-so sucked all the chocolate off them." And that was pretty messed up. So I remember being, I don't know, 9, 10, something like that. And so Paul, there you go, Paul Marcel. Agnes is asking, how do I feel about opening up Vegas? Well, it's not my call, first off. Secondly, I think it would suck to be any governor or mayor of any city or state in this country at the moment, because you can't please everyone. People are desperate for money. They want to get back to work. They want to get on with their lives. Debt is accruing for many people. And so it's becoming, an emotionally and politically divided, there's a division here that makes it extremely challenging. But just look at the facts. No testing procedures in place, no vaccine, and we don't really have any protocols to implement any type of safety into that. So by opening up things slowly, what are we doing? Just inevitably going to expose more people, and there's going to be pockets and waves of more coronavirus. So there's no plan. There's no plan at the moment. And so I think it's a big mistake. That's what I think. I wish that wasn't the case. But here's the thing. The economy is taking a beating. But we can recover from economic catastrophe and financial ruins. But you cannot recover from being dead. And that's really all I have to say about it. So, human life is worth way more than any economy to me. So that's just what I think. But we'll see. You base it on the experts, see what the experts say. Follow the experts, and because it stresses you out. And if you get stressed out, then you just pour yourself a drink, All right. What's my favorite thing that happened at your show? Like the favorite person you remember the most? I've talked about this the last couple of weeks ago. Powder King, he signed on. Also, Gangster Elmo t-shirt on our YouTube videos is also one of my favorites. Fantastic. There's so many moments, and we captured a lot of them and put them on YouTube. So we have another moment coming up in our email, and our YouTube upload is going to happen soon. And Brent and I have been reviewing a video. He's got a nice one cut up. There's funny moments. And that's coming up on our YouTube channel, hopefully in the next little while. So, and if you're on our email list on my website, you'll get that. So you'll get email notification when it gets up. Okay, coffee issues. Same here, except for coffee crisp. That's true, Andre. I will eat coffee crisp, but I do not like coffee at all. Have you considered hypnosis for your coffee issue? Yeah, hypnosis? That shit don't work. Chris, kid, you don't like coffee, changes everything. Okay. Man, I'm really upsetting some of you guys about this coffee stuff. Been last time, hope all's well in Vegas. Share us with the most hilarious moment on stage. I just briefly talked about some of that stuff. There's so many. It is so hard to, Jock, the guy named Jock, I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So it's been, there's so many great moments. I wish that there was really more than one that stand out. There's so many. Hello, Victoria, BC. Hello from Cyprus. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too. Dina might make me some Nanaimo bars, and Aaron Kamatomo's wife might make me some. Might be half missing. I'd like that. That'd be great. Grizzly, I need a haircut. I don't even want to show you guys, but all my hair on top is super long, so that's not changing, but I'm using the clippers on the side, and this is jacked up. And look at this is all jacked up. and I don't even want to show you the back. Okay, so, but I'm keeping the sides nice and clean. Good old Long Lake. Yeah, Dan, that's right. Okay, thanks for the stress relief program. You're welcome. Been doing it for the past week. It's helped. It gave me motivation to start baking as an extra stress reliever. Bake, 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 and then you need the weight loss program. So, yeah. All right, so I was in the show a few times about the family friends, 15 times. That's awesome. Thank you, Kendall. Another live stream, you had said no longer have either of your Tesla cars. What happened to them? Got rid of them. So I leased one of them and the other was purchased, and I got rid of both cars and just change. I like to change. I like to get new stuff. So, but I may go back because I missed them. All right. Dave Lavoie is watching. What's up, Dave? Hello from Belgium. Patrick Picard is another hypnotist from Belgium and has become a friend over the years and has the coolest glasses, these round glasses that have this one arm that sticks to the back of his head and has no arms on the side. It's very Morpheus from Matrix. Jennifer, Trisha's sister, Trisha DeCourt's sister. Hello. What do I miss about Grimshaw? Well, I miss your sister, Trish. We were best buddies growing up, and we talk occasionally. But I miss about Grimshaw, I mean, I miss the people. I miss the people and the small town vibe and the feel. But I don't miss the weather. Being in Vegas is really the only thing I don't miss. But I really miss the people. I miss the good Canadian family get-togethers. Those kind of things are always big groups and lots of friends and really a good family atmosphere. So I miss that. I mean, my closest relative, close core relative is like 2,200 miles away from where I'm at right now. So I don't get a lot of that stuff, and a lot of people get to call their mom to come look after the baby or watch the kids for an hour. We just don't have access to that. And that's been a little challenging, but Joe is asking or saying the course is great. You're very welcome, Joe. Thanks for being in the course. Kingman, Arizona, I've seen the show over 20 times. Can't wait to see it again. Thank you, Joshua. Kingman, Arizona, I've been there a few times, obviously driving through to Phoenix. Never stop in Kingman for more than some food and to pee, but that's pretty much it. Pamela from Toronto, hello, love your show. Thank you so much. Christmas Lights to Queen. Thanks, Brent, for putting the Queen music up. What do I think of hypnosis to improve the immune system? If you don't mind, please share your email, because I have some experience studying the human-body connection. Going to medical school, and I'm curious about this. Email through our website. Go to my website, marksavard.com. Email through there. That's the best way. And hypnosis can help with the immune system. You can basically influence the body to respond certain ways, because the mind and body communicate in organ language. If you can think a thought, you can cause your body organic change. That's why anxiety and our stomach turns in knots, and we get all palm sweaty. All of those things are very, very profound. So yeah, we can influence using mind power. I mean, when I talked about my drinking and driving car crash where I got hit by a drunk driver, I did all natural healing. After 3 days, I told the doctor I want to be off of all the medication, do all natural healing. And I was supposed to be, in bed for a long time, healing from the broken back and fractured skull and basal skull fracture. I broke my back and I had that car crash on August 1st, and I was playing hockey October 9th. Now, it's not because I'm superhuman, and it's just because I access and tap into the subconscious mind and the potential that we have, that everyone has that potential. It's a matter of tapping into it, right? Mark Cummings, how's my metal health? I haven't been listening to any metal music, but I presume you meant my mental health, and if not, I think it's a great question, but my mental health's been great. I was telling Kate yesterday, I kind of like not doing shows and kind of like not leaving the house and kind of like just chilling. It's a shame for me to say that. But yeah, it's been 5 weeks and I'm okay. Maybe in a few weeks I might be itching to go back on stage, but maybe I was burnt out. I was doing shows, so many shows for so long that it's just been really nice to have the break. So I've been feeling good. Greetings from Germany. Hello. Ein, zwei, Polizei, Achtung. I think that's the extent of my German. Jason, I look just like Gerald. I do look like my cousin Gerald. I do. G-Money. All right, totally agree. Perfect time to film an apocalypse movie in just about any city. I agree with that. I love your show, been several times. Powder King, there's the Powder King video. Thank you, Brent. I love the snake piece. That's what's coming up next on our YouTube channel. Scare tactics, killer snake attacks man, very funny. I like that one. All right, so okay, here we go. Am I doing laps in your pool for fitness? No, I am not. I've only been in the pool once. The kids are going in twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. But I've gone in one time. So, what happened to the original voodoo doll? Well, I still have the original voodoo doll. Thank you for asking, Charlie. That voodoo doll actually was purchased in the Caribbean, like 20 years ago, probably. And it's still there, but we just wanted one that was more authentic. So we made a little more authentic one, unless you prefer the Raggedy Ann looking one. Ramirez. Raymond, I saw your show a few years ago and I was on stage. I was the last one of the guys left over with another guy and did a pole dance, and some people threw some money on stage, started calling me Pitbull. Oh, I remember Pitbull. Yeah, I remember that. And told me the other guy had a blow-up doll too. Anyways, about the DVD, but for some reason, I cannot find it. How do I get a copy of that? Do you have past shows? I do have past shows. We changed systems in June of 2016, so we only have up to then. But if you email our office, we'll be able to guide you down the right path. Recently graduated some online hypnosis class. Do implement hypnosis for stress and immune system improvement. Awesome. That's great. Okay. Do you have any idea of timescale for the next course after Hypnosis 101? The stage hypnosis, you mean, Kate Bevan Marks? Yeah, it's going to come weekly immediately after. It's just all of them are going to come weekly. So that you can digest the material as you go, but all of it's going to come piece by piece. That's the plan. Okay. Do you have any hypnosis programs for gaining weight? I'm losing a ton of weight in this pandemic. Yes, you can listen to my weight loss program backwards. Joe Connerman. I don't have any program. Joe, wasn't Kay supposed to be on this with you today? Yes. You want to be? Yes, I forgot. Do you want to be on?
Okay.
Good question, Joe. Kate, come on. You guys get to meet Kate?
Hello.
So this is Kate, and she is my partner, and she's also a fellow hypnotist, hypnotherapist, and has been kicking ass and taking names. And well, tell us a little bit about what you do. Why don't you do that? Tell us a little bit about what you do, and let's start there.
Okay.
Great.
I work with clients mostly online.
Feels weird being this close. Social distancing. Right? Normally, I'm not even anywhere near you.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work with clients predominantly online, and that was before COVID-19. I work with clients on all sorts of things. If it's emotional, it's based in your subconscious, we can work on it. But the cornerstone of what I do is based in relationships, sex, sexuality. I was actually really surprised when I started getting into hypnosis and hypnotherapy that there were so few people who specialized in sex. And because sex is really a highly emotional event, right? And so anybody who's ever experienced...
I know, that's why every time we have sex, I end up crying after. Yeah, cry after all the time.
That's okay. Anybody who's ever had any kind of problems in bed, you know, most of the time it's not a physical problem. You know, if we have men have certain problems in bed, and sometimes women have problems with libido, and men too. A lot of these issues are emotionally driven, right? Doubt is a big problem. Once you have one kind of negative experience and then you go in the next time that you're with your partner and you think, oh, I hope it doesn't happen again. And of course that triggers that response in your body. So I wanted to help people with this and made it my mission to help people have better sex lives, better relationships, learn to communicate, learn to understand the connection between their mind and body, and how to use hypnosis to harness that power in a positive direction. And that's what I do. So
maybe give them, like, and you do a lot of relationship, hypnosis and coaching. Mm-hmm. And one thing that you've talked about in your lectures that I absolutely adore, and we've, gone back and forth about this, is the 3 whys. We implement it into our relationship. Why don't you give them a freebie, a little bit about maybe some examples, and then how they can implement it into their relationship.
Well, most of us out there are pretty much locked up inside with their partners. And they say, I've read a lot of news articles saying that when this is all over, that they're expecting divorce rates to skyrocket. And so now it's very important to be talking about tools to communicate with your partner so that you don't kill each other. And so the 3 whys that Marc is talking about is something that we kind of do naturally because both of us are hypnotists and both of us are annoying and ask lots of questions by nature. So we decided that there's actually some use for this and how can we teach other people? We talked a lot about this. So I always encourage people to, a lot of times if you find that you've been fighting about the same things over and over again, that's usually a good sign that's a signal. That can be a good thing. That can signal to you that you need to stop and assess what you're really arguing about. Right? So a lot of times that we find ourselves arguing a lot with our partner about seemingly insignificant things. Dishes in the sink, for example, right? So let's say you and I always am asking you to help out with the dishes, put your dishes in the dishwasher, and you don't do it. And so we constantly fight about it. And you're like, I'm busy, I've got other things, and don't attack me. And I say, why can't you just do this thing that I ask you to do? Right? And you can find yourself having these same irritating, stupid arguments a lot. And so in order to figure out what's really going on, we use at least three whys. The question why is really useful. So at first, you might think you're arguing about dishes, right? So,
I might say something like, well, why are you harping me about the dishes so much? Or is that what you mean?
Well, you might start by saying, okay, I'm mad at my partner for not doing the dishes. Why? So you ask yourself, and you can ask your partner, but you can ask yourself the first why. So at first, your first answer to that might be, because I ask him to do it and he never does it, and I ask him to do it every night and he bothers me and it makes me mad. Why? Okay. Well, it makes me mad because I feel like it's disrespectful to me. Right? I work really hard around the house and I just want him to pitch in, right? Why? Because I actually feel like we made an agreement about what we each pitch in this relationship, and I feel like I'm giving all of this stuff, and he's not giving time to our relationship, he's not giving time to romance. I ask him to do one thing, and I just feel like he's not pulling his weight. Well, now we realize we're not arguing about dishes. It really has nothing to do with dishes. That is a symptom of something much deeper. And that means now when you've asked yourself some whys, now you have some meat on the bone. Now you have something you can actually talk to your partner about what's really going on, which is,
I don't feel valued.
I don't feel valued. I feel like we're out of balance in many ways. And it's showing itself through nitpicky arguments, right? So now you have the opportunity to have a meaningful discussion. And before you can have a meaningful discussion, you have to understand what your needs are. And you can also use the 3 whys when you're talking about sex. So something that I always like to tell people is never yuck anybody's yum. We all have fantasies, for example. We all have things that we think would be, exciting, and you don't know how
that's why I like you to wear the Chewbacca suit.
That's right. Yeah. Never yuck anybody's yum. So I like to first tell people to ask why before you react. When your partner says something that they would like to do or something they're interested in.
Let's create like an environment. Anybody who's under 18, you might want to just log off. Okay, so let's say we talk about like turn-ons. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I were to ask you, well, hey, when you watch, online, porn or something, you watched something. Oh, what did you watch? Oh, you watched, what turned you on? And you said, maybe you watch what? Like, give an example.
Threesomes.
Okay. Or, so then I'll say, immediately, most partners will say, what, am I not enough? But if you start asking the questions, Well, why are you?
What is it about that? Why do you like that?
Why do you like that?
Well, maybe I like the feeling. It makes me feel like powerful, or and that's exciting to me. Oh, well, why is that exciting to you?
Right.
Well, maybe I feel like I spend every day taking care of kids and taking care of everybody else, and I don't feel very powerful, right?
Right.
So that's exciting to me. As you start to ask why, you start to uncover elements of your personalities and your needs that you may not have been talking about. And that information is much more useful than what kind of adult movies they watch. Because now you can understand, oh, my partner feels a little bit like maybe invalidated, or a little bit overwhelmed, or a little bit, they don't feel like they have enough power, they don't get to make enough decisions, they're always taking care of other people. Well, that's great information, because now you can actually be a better partner, you can make a better relationship with that information. It started with a conversation that was relatively surface, and by having an open-minded attitude and asking some whys, you actually get to uncover about yourself and about your partner some deeper motivations, emotional drivers. And
when you can peel back the layers, you end up finding common ground a lot easier. It only took 17 whys before we got to the Chewbacca suit, but we got there.
Oh, but also just a note about the whys. Tone is everything. There is a big difference between why and that's interesting.
Tell me why?
And so please know that I'm not asking you to badger your partner with why, because that is not going to help, and no one likes that.
Right.
So that's important.
Awesome. So you help people with relationships, sexual issues like pleasure, orgasm, performance, all those kind of things, sexual trauma that they may have experienced in their
Healing
life.
from sexual trauma, body confidence, really anything. People come to me with the most specific of issues to the most broad.
Okay, so people come to you for, I know this because we've talked about clients come to you for public speaking and weight loss and depression and, sports performance and everything. So why are you qualified to do that stuff when you're an expert in sex only?
Because I'm not an expert in sex. I'm an expert in the
Yeah,
mind.
you are. Yeah, you are. Okay.
I'm an expert, like you, in the mind. So all we're talking about is one aspect of your mind's connection with your body. So by specializing in, sex, well, that's just one aspect of your mind-body connection. But the foundation of how your subconscious works, those foundational concepts, well, that applies to anything emotional. That applies to whether you have anxiety for public speaking or anxiety in bed. It's the anxiety that's the same. We go about solving it in the same way because we are, these are universal ideas of how we deal with anxiety, of how it responds in our body. And when I teach you, if I teach you how your mind works, how it connects to your body, and help you be better in bed, you will also be better in other aspects of your life.
Right. Or the other way around.
Or the other way around. Because underneath this specific problem are some universal ideas. How I deal with anxiety, how I deal with confidence, how I deal with my worries, right? And that can show itself in sex, or it could show itself in test taking, or it could show itself in how you sleep.
Right.
How it could present itself in many different ways. So I really do work with all kinds of clients, but sex is the one that I guess advertise my business under that banner.
All right, so I've been working on some online video classes and all kinds of different video courses that I'm putting together, and it's just been demanding. So I have not been taking any private clients. I don't think that's going to happen in the nearest future. But you have been. So how do they reach you? Maybe Brent can put your email up here and tell us how that process works if they want to book a session with you.
Yes, I have, I am sending out a bunch of emails this afternoon. A couple of you have emailed me over the last day or so. I'm sending out some emails today to follow up and get some consultations booked for some people that have reached out. And if you are interested, you can go to katesheeler.com, which is KATESHELOR.com. And maybe we'll throw that up in here. Maybe Brent can throw that up in here. And you can also email me at hypnosis@katesheeler.com. You can throw me an email and say, hey, this is what's been going on. I'm interested in chatting with you about it. I offer a free 20-minute consultation to anyone. I am no pressure. I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to get on the phone and just sell you on a program and say, do you want to book with me at the end? That's not at all what I do. If you call,
which frustrates me because you're.
You'd like me to, but no.
But yeah, I mean, but you're so kind and so soft, which people appreciate. But it really is at their pace.
It is, and so all it is an opportunity for you to, kind of chat with me about what's been going on. I can talk to you about how hypnosis might relate to that, and we can talk about what I do. You can get to know me a little bit, and then in your own time, when you get off the phone, if you decide you want to book, you can book online through the link through my website, or I'll send you a link in the email after our conversation, and you can book sessions with me. So it's pretty painless and pretty easy. And
you're very good. You're awesome. I'm not just saying that because you're my partner. Like, I've watched you do sessions, listened to you do sessions. We've talked about sessions afterwards. You get, we develop different techniques for hypnotherapy based on, deep conversations. So we're constantly modifying, and you're very good. Like,
do you know why he's saying this though? It's because he taught me.
No, I'm not. Well, when you put it that way. No, but I mean, I think you're better at therapy than I am. I'm very confrontational. I'm a lot like Fritz Perl. I'm very, and you are confrontational, but you have a much softer approach. And
the very first time Marc ever hypnotized me, it was a very quick session, 5 minutes, and he made me cry. In that 5 minutes, he had me crying. So, which I needed, and it was good for me.
Yes, I
needed it. But when he says he's confrontational,
he means it. I don't let you get away with absolutes and bullshit. So, but anyway, you're very, very good. Contact her, reach her, and I promise you will not regret. So there you go, Joe. Kate came on, but you can stay on. We'll finish up.
I think you have probably have a lot of questions here.
Give some ideas for audio visualization techniques to help.
I might need my glasses.
Okay, you can't read these? No. We're getting old.
Is there hypnosis for that?
We're getting old. Okay. Samantha, hi, Kate. Do you think? Oh, this is a question for you. Okay. Do you think a woman's lack of self-esteem can be from years of emotional abuse for their own parents, from their own parents over the years? Could hypnotherapy help with healing the past hurt?
The answer to that is absolutely. Your parents are incredibly influential on you, and we develop, coping mechanisms and emotional habits from a young age. And of course, we can all understand this basic idea. If you have a child, right, and you have an adult who tells the child every day that they're going to amount to nothing, right? You're stupid and you're worthless. That child's probably going to grow up and believe they're stupid and worthless. So, most parents aren't saying things like that, but no doubt if you were taking in negative ideas as a child, it's going to affect you later on. Yep. The good news is hypnotherapy, this is what it does best.
Well, and by the time you're 18 years of age, the average is you accept about 30,000 new suggestions by the time you're 18 from your parents and from people in your immediate family. So there's no doubt that it shapes who you are as a person. But the good news is there's ways to rewrite some of those ideas. But here's the thing. You cannot change something in one level of consciousness when it was created by a different level of consciousness. So the problem with these emotional initial sensitizing events is that you can't think yourself out of them. It's very, very difficult to think yourself out of them. It has to have some type of change in the subconscious mind. And the good news is hypnosis is exactly that. That's what it does. Mm-hmm. All right. Bruce, Marc is very quick, I heard. It was a quick 5 minute. The very first time I hypnotized you. That's all it took. Yeah, thanks a lot, Bruce. Bruce is a past student of mine. I love Bruce. But not anymore after that. Louise Lewis is asking, does Kate just talk to clients or does she hypnotize people over Skype, Zoom?
I do coaching and hypnosis, and I do it all over Google Hangouts, Skype, Zoom, whatever your preferred online method is. And
Okay, but stop for a second. How could you hypnotize someone over Skype?
so if I asked you right now
Okay.
to close your eyes, and I told you, take a deep breath, now let that out. Open your eyes. Could you tell, really, whether I was talking to you through the phone or whether I was talking to you in person?
Once my eyes are closed, it's the same.
It's the same.
Although I can smell your perfume.
And my A&W root beer.
Yeah. So basically, hypnotizing over Skype is no different than a private one-on-one session.
If you are there and ready to do the work, if you can be in a comfortable place and be undisturbed for an hour or so, we can do the work.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Okay. Mark saying negative reinforcements never works. Time and time again, positive reinforcement has proven to be more responsive. The government took the time to study torture for that very reason.
It's also why we get a lot of false, police officers get a lot of false confessions under duress. And we know this from training our dogs as well.
Right. But,
you know,
and there is something, talking about positive and negative reinforcements, I agree. But there's also something that we're naturally wired as human beings, is that there is that if the fear of loss is a greater motivator than the opportunity for gain.
That's true.
So we're complicated, but yet simple. And once you understand kind of how the mind operates and how it moves from negative to positive experiences in the subconscious, even if that's the direction it wants to move, but sometimes the positive experience is a negative thing, like a fight or flight. Do you want to talk about maybe that? Like, for example, orgasm and safety. I want to say more.
Yeah, well, sometimes and one of the reasons that talk therapy, you go to your standard therapist, can be can take a much longer time to get to resolution than with hypnotherapy, is also related to this idea, right? So because you might not know what is actually going on, what's actually driving you, right? You might not be consciously aware. So I was sexually assaulted, and when I was in college, and it was obviously a very traumatic experience. And I thought, however, many years later, in my mind, I thought that I was fine, right? And so I was out in the world and dating and having sex and not orgasming. And this just went on for years. And I just wasn't able to orgasm with another person, not in the room, not with their back turned while I'm doing, using my toy, nothing.
But you could alone.
But I could alone. And this went on for years, and it caused a lot of problems in relationships. It caused me a lot of problems with how I felt about myself. And it was a real epiphany when I learned about the subconscious mind. I had tried everything. I'd read all the books, I'd watched the TED Talks, I'd bought the toys, I'd done everything. And nothing worked. And it wasn't until I realized about how our subconscious works that I had the big breakthrough, which was that, for example, the subconscious makes associations. I don't want to be like
teach my class.
I'm going to teach your class. So I'm trying to scale it back here.
Okay, but the concept we're talking about is how positive reinforcement works better than negative reinforcements. And I'm saying that sometimes
it's the opposite.
They're switched, and you're moving towards positive, even though it's a negative response.
Yeah, I basically was, I wanted to have an orgasm with a partner, very much so. But subconsciously, I wanted to be safe more.
Right.
And so
even though your subconscious mind thinks it's doing you a favor by
does.
keeping you, by association,
Yes.
keeping you out of those environments of feeling
Vulnerable and connect-
that it is causing you to have all these shortcomings in personal satisfaction and relationship
but
satisfaction.
for my own good, right?
Correct.
It says, sex, I know what this is. This is that bad, scary, painful thing.
Right.
I know what to do. Shut it down,
Right.
and she'll get out of there.
Right.
Right. So, and so it really there's so much. I hope that if you are interested in this, I'm going to plug Marc's 101 class. And I know there's a lot of students here, but the 101 class is not. You can take this course even if you have no intention of becoming a hypnotist. If you are just interested in learning about the subconscious mind, learning about your own subconscious mind, how to change your patterns, I would take this course and put it up against any self-help course, any Tony Robb, anything, any day. This course is the jam.
Thanks.
It really is life-changing, and you do not even have to want to be a hypnotist to take this course and get huge amount of personal value out of it. So there you go.
The real question, can you orgasm with another person? Yeah.
That's what drove me to do this for a living,
Right.
to help other people, how it helped me.
Thanks for sharing. I know that's not an easy share, but you like sharing that. All right, panic attacks. I'm using book of power induction. Panic attacks. It deals with emotions and feels and anchors. Great statement. My life outside of hypnosis is considered essential, and I have finished the first module on your online training. Awesome, Steve. A very nice refresher. Thanks for making it available. Hopefully I can get caught up and join in one of the Zoom meetings. Yes, absolutely. Even if you don't get caught up, join in the Zoom meetings because there's lots of great questions that come out of there. And if you want to ask any, by all means. Sunny. Hey, what's up, Sunny? When we first met, you mentioned hypnotherapy as a possible route in discovering why I'm deaf in one ear. Since I have no physical reason for it, do you still wholeheartedly believe that there is a possible solution there? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Okay, Mark Cummings, what are your rates? Kate, how do you do that?
So if you come on as a first-time client, typically I do a 3-session package, which I believe is $399.
Right, so it's in line with like a $125 therapy session that you would get anywhere else, but more effective.
Yes, and the reason I do 3 sessions is I really want to take the time to get to know all the things you want to tell me, get to know what's going on with you, teach you about your subconscious mind. There's a big coaching aspect. And then I do multiple techniques in hypnotherapy over the sessions and figure out how you work, how your mind works, how you best respond. If you are a Marc Facebook Live person and you are interested in having sessions, I can give you a 25% discount if you email me and you quote Marc Facebook. Just say you came from Marc's Facebook Live group, and I will give you a 25% discount. After that, my goal is after 3 sessions to send you on your way in the world.
Fixed.
And never see you again. That is, for whatever you came for. Some people, I've had some people that came to me for one thing, and then they came back later and said, man, I'd really like, can we work on stress? Can we work on... So they wanted to come back for other things, and that's wonderful. For those clients, I usually do $99 a session if they're returning, and they want to go deeper into whatever it is that we're dealing with. So there it is.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for answering the question about hypnotizing online, but wouldn't you worry that you couldn't get the client out of a hypnotized state? Ooh, that's a great question.
That's fun.
Well, a couple of things. First off, hypnosis is a natural state of consciousness. It's something you experience every single day. Just like it's impossible for someone to stay awake for a long period of time, 2, 3, 4 days, you can't stay awake. Your body has to go through cyclical patterns of falling asleep. Just the same as you can't stay sleeping for an extended period of time, for 2 days. Once your body goes through a sleep cycle and it will wake up. Just the same as it's impossible to stay hypnotized for a long period of time. Your body goes through natural cycles, and it would normally just come out of hypnosis. If the connection stopped, one of a couple of things would happen. One, immediately your subconscious mind realizes what's happening and you're disconnected from the session. You'll come out of hypnosis within seconds to a minute or two at the very most. If that didn't happen, you'd go into a regular sleep cycle and could be woken by anybody else. So there's really no danger, and it's becoming such a more popular way to do therapy now that your mind and your critical factor and your subconscious watchdog knows what you're getting into when you're getting into a session, and part of the brain stays connected to that. So there's no danger whatsoever at all. If people stayed in hypnosis when the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of shows are happening every single day throughout the world, if someone couldn't be awakened from hypnosis, you'd hear about it, and it just doesn't happen. So there's no real danger. All right, great question. Do you believe that if the ear is physically fine, there may be a process organically related psychological process? Yes, that impacts the hearing. Great. Well, hey, let me just talk. There was a session I did where a person had a paralyzed arm, and from a car crash, and basically through hypnosis, there was no physical reason why the arm could not move. But what had happened in the car crash, she was the passenger, had reached over, grabbed the steering wheel and pulled it over to help dodge. And then the car hit a pillar or a tree or something, I don't remember. And so there was a psychological punishment to themselves because they caused injury to their loved one. So it's pretty profound how the mind works. It's like that whole negative experience, positive experience. We're trying to move to positive, but the reason why we move there may not be helpful. All right. Victimization destroys intimacy. Sadly, it's all too common discussion. I've had it over my life with women. Absolutely. No question, but I wanted to pop in and say best show in Vegas. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hi, Marcia. Good to see you. A past student. Does body position matter in hypnosis? Laying versus sitting. When I lay down, I fall asleep. Is that okay?
Well, you don't want to be completely off with the fairies, I think, in best case scenario. But to be honest, I listen to hypnosis as I fall asleep a lot. I listen to audio hypnosis programs. Mm-hmm. And
your mind still listens. Your subconscious.
My mind takes in those messages, and I wake up the next day raring to go.
But it is better if you're participating, if you're actively participating in the process.
So if you feel really, then sit up in a relaxed position if you think you'll fall asleep.
Great. Hello, New Zealand. You guys still kicking ass over there? You guys have like a woman leader who knows what she's doing, and you guys were doing some amazing things over there, so I hope that's still the case. I haven't seen any news from you guys in the last 10 days, but New Zealand, a lot of the women leaders in the world right now are responding better to the coronavirus than the male leaders. Mm-hmm. It is a proven fact. Maybe because, we're just gonna move on. Okay, all right. Kate and Nicole participated with my friend Pat in your Vegas show. What a blast. I'm glad to hear that. Usually one session is enough. Regard therapy sessions in my experience. Yes, can be. However, most hypnotists use direct suggestion for hypnotherapy. What we do in the 3-session process is direct suggestion in the first session, and then transforming therapy in the second. And transforming therapy is an age regression tied into Gestalt dialoguing and a resolution of the content, because we don't want to just patch up, we want to get a resolve, some type of resolution. And then the third session is like a supercharged, powerful build on the session. So that's why the results are so unbelievably amazing, and clients come back to work with different things. So that's the reason why the 3 sessions. Do you have an experience with teenager girls and anxiety? Either one. Well, together we have 5 daughters. And so, yes, we do hypnosis with the girls. Mm-hmm. The girls are now experimenting with hypnosis with each other. So, yes.
There's a lot of hypnosis going on in this house.
Yeah, so very much some experience with teenage girls. As quite difficult. Thanks for answering your question. No problem, Louise. I was in your show about 6 years ago. Awesome. Tim Barlin, hey, welcome aboard, even though you're here a little bit late. That's okay. We're wrapping up anyways. We're an hour. Can you hypnotize my kid that I do know stuff so they learn from parents trying to homeschool during COVID? All right, Janet, that's a great question. Here's what we've learned. Teaching your kids at home, even if you're a hypnotist, sucks balls.
It's not easy.
Yeah, we appreciate all the work that teachers do because it's not easy. But we're doing it. We're hanging in.
Especially since a lot of their homework for our little kids are done on their iPads because that's their computer. But their iPads are their vessel for
Yeah.
entertainment.
YouTube Kids.
Right? And so it's really,
Games.
you could turn around.
Yeah.
They finish one assignment, you walk out of the room, you come back and they're watching
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah. That's crazy. Okay. You'd be a fun couple to hang with. It was the last time I remember being this free of the stage. I don't remember. I literally, I've gone 5 weeks without doing a show. Maybe 25, 24 years. I don't know.
This is vacation. This is, I mean, you're working, but this is.
It's amazing. I don't even know. But thank you. We are a fun couple to hang out with. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I like her a lot. So South African president's been amazing, who have praised him for his handling of the country. Okay, great. That's awesome. Can be hypnotized to become more motivative, such as working out? How effective is it? Great question, Carolyn. Yes, hypnotized to work out. All of it. Everything we do is driven by an emotion. That's why the subconscious mind and hypnosis is so effective, because every single thing we do begins in thought, and that thought, empowered by emotions, causes behavior change, and that's what we need to tap into. So yeah. All right, we're wrapping things up. Bruce, great stuff. You guys glad to stop by. Glad you stopped by too. Mark, yes, daughter has thoughts, hurting herself sometimes. She's good now, but reach out. That's something that that Kate can do some wonders with, as long as she's interested in doing the work. All right. So on that note, thanks for spending your Friday afternoon with us as inmates, fellow inmates. Peace out. See you next time. Take care.